Alright, good morning, Exile. I'm back here with a video again. Thought I could do it in one go, but nope. No, it couldn't. Maybe I will even have to cut this one in half once again, so be it like a three-part thing, but still I'm gonna get there. I also did manage to learn a couple of things from not rewatching the whole thing, but watching a couple of snippets, and maybe I can do a slightly better job at this, reading the entire patch note like a fucking lunatic. So let's get back to it. So we stopped in the previous video in the purifying flames in the section of the balance of the balance in the gems. So let's get to it. Purifying Flame now has 220% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 300% at gem level 20, previously 300% at all gem levels. Purifying Flame of Revelations now has 140% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 190% at gem level 20, previously 200% at all gem levels. Rage Vortex now has 42% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 40%, scaling up to 70% at gem level 20, previously 62%. Rage Storm now deals 10% more damage per 1 rage sacrificed at all gem levels, previously 5%. Good. Rage Vortex of Berserking now has 42% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 40%, scaling up to 70% at gem level 20, previously 62%. Rain of Arrows now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Rain of Arrows of Artillery now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Rain of Arrows of Saturation now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Raise Spectre of Transience can no longer use Spectral Corpses. Rallying Cry buff now grants added attack damage equal to 3% of the damage of your main hand weapon per 5 power, counting a maximum of 30 power, previously up to a maximum of 20% of main hand weapon damage. It has a base duration of 2.5 seconds at gem level 1, previously 5, scaling up to 3.4 at gem level 20, previously 5.9. Reap now has a 150% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 210% at gem level 20, previously 210% at all gem levels. Reeve now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 232% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 170%, scaling up to 534% at gem level 20, previously 250%. Reeve of Refraction now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 232% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 170%, scaling up to 534% at gem level 20, previously 250%. Rolling Magma now has a 230% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 280% at gem level 20, previously 280% at all gem levels. Scourge Arrow no longer has added chaos damage at all gem levels. It now has 117% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 90%, scaling up to 162% at gem level 20, previously 155%. Scourge Arrow of Menace no longer has added chaos damage at all gem levels. It now has 39% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 30%, scaling up to 52% at gem level 20, previously 40%. Now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 12. Seismic Cry no longer grants a buff which makes it easier for you to stun enemies. The user and nearby allies now gain a buff that increases their armor and stun threshold. Buff grants 5% more armor per power. Apologies. Buff grants 5% more armor per 5 power and 50% increased stun threshold per 5 power, counting a maximum of 25 power. Exerted attacks now have 50% more area of effect, previously 30%, and 30% increased area of effect per previous attack exerted by this Warcry. Now exerts the next 6 melee slam attacks you perform, previously 4. It has a 2.2 duration at gem level 1, previously 4, scaling up to 3.4 at gem level 20, previously 4.9. Seismic Trap of Swells now has 220% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 240% at gem level 20, previously 240% at all gem levels. Shattering Steel no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 170% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 100, scaling up to 265% at gem level 20, previously 159%. Now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 12 at gem level 20, previously 9. Shattering Steel of Ammunition no longer has added attack physical damage at gem no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 170% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 100%, scaling up to 265% at gem level 20, previously 159%. Now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 12 at gem level 20, previously 9. Shrapnel Ballista no longer has added physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 46% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 38%, scaling up to 53% at gem level 20, previously 44%. Now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, previously 5, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 11. Shrapnel Ballista of Steel no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 60% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 50%, scaling up to 69% at gem level 20, previously 58%. Now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, previously 5, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 11. Shield Charge now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. Now has a level requirement of 4 at gem level 1, previously 10, and a strength requirement of 16 at gem level 1, previously 29. Now deals 9 to 13 base offhand physical damage at gem level 1, previously 12 to 18, scaling up to 5 to 252 to 378 at gem level 20, previously 134 to 200. It has 3 to 5 added physical damage per 15 armor or evasion rating on shields at gem level 1, previously 3 to 4, scaling up to 8 to 12 at gem level 20, previously 5 to 7. Good buffs. Shield Crush now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling to 13 at gem level 20, previously 8 at all gem levels. It now has 4 to 6 base offhand physical damage at gem level 1, unchanged, with values of 300 to 450 at gem level 20, previously 172 to 258. Now has 3 to 5 added physical damage per 15 armor or evasion rating on shield at gem level 1, previously 3 to 4, scaling up to 8 to 12 at gem level 20, previously 5 to 7. Shield Crush of the Chieftain now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, scaling up to 15 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. It now has 6 to 8 base offhand fire damage at gem level 1, previously 5 to 7, with values of 389 to 583 at gem level 20, previously 222 to 334. Now has 7 to 10 added fire damage per 15 armor on shield at gem level 1, previously 6 to 8, scaling up to 13 to 20 at gem level 20, previously 8 to 12. Shock Nova now has 140 effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 190 at gem level 20, previously 190% at all gem levels. Siege Ballista now has a mana cost of 8 at gem level 1, previously 6, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 11. Siege Ballista of Splintering now has a mana cost of 8 at gem level 1, previously 6, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 11. Smite now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 12 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 225% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 196%, scaling up to 488% at gem level 20, previously 273%. Smite of Divine Judgment now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 12 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 201% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 170%, scaling up to 369% at gem level 20, previously 250%. Snipe now has a mana cost of 4 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 6 at gem level 20, previously 5. Spectral Helix now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 9 at gem level 20, unchanged. Now has 120% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 100%, scaling up to 180% at gem level 20, previously 150%. Spectral Shield Throw now has 56 to 84 base offhand physical damage at gem level 1, previously 47 to 70, scaling up to 243 to 364 at gem level 20, previously 203 to 304. It now has 3 to 5 added physical damage per 15 armor or evasion rating on shield at gem level 1, previously 3 to 4, with values of 5 to 9 at gem level 20, previously 5 to 7. Spectral Shield Throw of Shattering now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, previously 8, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 12. Now has 69, nice, to 103 base offhand cold damage at gem level 1, previously 57 to 86, scaling up to 297 to 446 at gem level 20, previously 248 to 372. It now has 4 to 7 added cold damage per 15 evasion on shield, previously 4 to 5, with values of 7 to 12 at gem level 20, previously 7 to 9. Spectral Throw now has a mana cost of 5 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 9 at gem level 20, previously 8. Now has 100% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 80, scaling up to 150 at gem level 20, previously 124%. Spectral Throw of Materializing now has a mana cost of 5 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 9 at gem level 20, previously 8. Now has 240% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 200, scaling up to 340% at gem level 20, previously 280. Split Arrow no longer has added physical attack Split Arrow no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 120% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 100%, scaling up to 142% at gem level 20, previously 119%. Now has a mana cost of 5 at gem level 1, previously 6, scaling up to 9 at gem level 20, previously 10. Split Arrow of Splitting now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Splitting Steel no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 120% effectiveness of base and added damage at all gem levels, previously 70, scaling up to 330% at gem level 20, previously 210%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 5, scaling up to 11 at gem level 20, previously 8. Splitting Steel of Ammunition no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 120% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 70, scaling up to 330% at gem level 20, previously 210%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 5, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 8. Static Strike now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 150% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 110%, scaling up to 346% at gem level 20, previously 188%. Storm Call now has a 220% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 250% at gem level 20, previously 250% at all gem levels. Storm Rain now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Storm Rain of the Conduit now has a mana cost at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Storm Rain of the Fence now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Stormbless Mine now has 120% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 130% at gem level 20, previously 130% at all gem levels. Sunder now has a mana cost of 8 at gem level 1, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 8 at all gem levels. Now has 273% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 220%, scaling up to 629% at gem level 20, previously 325%. Sunder of Earthbreaking now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 11 at gem level 20, previously 7 at all gem levels. Now has 290% and 19% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 170%, scaling up to 503% at gem level 20, previously 250%. Sweep no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 289% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 170%, scaling up to 664% at gem level 20, previously 281%. Now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, scaling up to 14 at gem level 20, previously 8 at all gem levels. Tectonic Slam, my beloved, now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. Now has 295% effectiveness of base damage and added damage at gem level 1, previously 180%, scaling up to 542% at gem level 20, previously 275%. Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. Now has 257% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 160%, scaling up to 472% at gem level 20, previously 240%. Tornado now has a 55% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 95% at gem level 20, previously 95% at all gem levels. There we go, now yeah. Tornado Shot now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, previously 10, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 12. Tornado Shot of the Cloudburst now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, previously 8, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, unchanged. Toxic Rain now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Toxic Rain of Spore Burst no longer has added chaos damage at all gem levels. It now has 72% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 60, scaling up to 102% at gem level 20, previously 85%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Toxic Rain of Withering now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, previously 7, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 11. Unearth corpses spawned are now level 10 at gem level 1, previously 12, scaling up to 70 at gem level 20, previously 80. Venom Gyre now has a mana cost of 5 at gem level 1, unchanged, scaling up to 8 at gem level 20, previously 7. Vigilant Strike now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 12 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has a 290% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 230%, scaling up to 745% at gem level 20, previously 350%. No longer has plus 0.2 meters to melee strike range. Viper Strike. No longer has added chaos damage at all gem levels. It now has 155% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 90%, scaling up to 392% at gem level 20, previously 154%, now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 5 at all gem levels. Viper Strike of the Mamba no longer has added chaos damage at all gem levels. It now has 155% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 90, scaling up to 392% at gem level 20, previously 154%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 5 at all gem levels. Void Sphere now has 50% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 75% at gem level 20, previously 75% at all gem levels. Void Sphere of Rending now has 120% effectiveness of added damage at level 1, scaling up to 190% at gem level 20, previously 190% at all gem levels. Volcanic Fissure now has a mana cost of 8 at gem level 1, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 8 at all gem levels. Now has 177% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 130%, scaling up to 344% at gem level 20, previously 185%. Volcanic Fissure of Snaking now has a mana cost of 9 at gem level 1, scaling up to 14 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. Now has 164% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 130%, scaling up to 318% at gem level 20, previously 185%. Voltaxic Burst now has a 210% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 230% at gem level 20, previously 230 at all gem levels. Vortex now has 130% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 170% at gem level 20, previously 270% at all gem levels. Vortex of Projection now has 130% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 170% at gem level 20, previously 270% at all gem levels. Vulnerability. Quality now provides attack hits against cursed enemies have 0 to 10% chance to aggravate bleeding, previously 0 to 20% increased duration of bleeding on cursed enemies. War Banner is no longer a reservation skill and has none of its previous stats. You must gain Valor from melee combat to use this skill, which will consume all Valor to place a banner with an aura. The aura will be larger and more powerful the more Valor was consumed. The banner lasts for a duration but will end early if you leave the aura or use the skill again while it's active. While you have no placed banner, you can gain Valor. Now has a base duration of 10 seconds and a base radius of 2.4 meters. Provides 5% more area of effect and 5% more aura effect per Valor consumed at gem level 1, both scaling to 10% at gem level 20. Banner grants 8% increased accuracy rating to you and allies and 4% more physical damage with melee skills to you and allies at all gem levels. Now has a mana cost of 13 at gem level 1, scaling up to 19 at gem level 20. Warlord's Mark no longer has cursed enemies grant 20 rage regenerated over 1 second when stunned. Instead, it now has cursed enemies grant 10 rage when stunned. Wave of Conviction now has 220% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up 330% at gem level 20, previously 330% at all gem levels. Whirling Blades now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. now has 136% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. No, sorry, I read the wrong thing, my bad. Whirling Blade now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 10 at all gem levels. Now it has 136% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 100, scaling up to 314% at gem level 20, previously 150%. Wild Strike now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Now has 219% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 160%, scaling up to 403% at gem level 20, previously 231%. Wild Strike of Extremes now has 178% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 130%, scaling up to 328 at gem level 20, previously 240%. Whew. Whew. Base skills balancing was... holy fuck, I think half the patch was just that. Straight up half the patch was just... the patch was just adding scaling damage to nerfing like the level 1 of the gem of the spells and making them scale with level. And buffing melee to stratospheric amounts while fucking over the mana cost. But, again, we have to see how mana is gonna work out. Okay. Let's go. Vow Skill Balance. Vow Blade Flurry. No longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 403% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 224%, scaling up to 690%, nice, at gem level 20, previously 343%. It now has a 100% chance to blind enemies on hit rather than blind enemies on hit. Because that interacts with enemies having chance to avoid ailments or something. Okay, I get it. Vow Blight now deals 6.5 base chaos damage per second at gem level 1, previously 4.3%, scaling up to 651.1 at gem level 20, previously 524.7. Vow Burning Arrow no longer has added fire damage to attacks against ignited enemies at all gem levels. It now has 390% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 280%, scaling up to 560% at gem level 20, previously 400%. Vow Cleave no longer has added physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 287% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 200%, scaling up to 726% at gem level 20, previously 400%. Holy shit. Vow Cyclone no longer has added attack physical damage at all gem levels. It now has 180% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 80, scaling up to 184% at gem level 20, previously 109%. Vow Double Strike no longer has physical damage added against bleeding enemies at all gem levels. It now has 41% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 28%, scaling up to 101% at gem level 20, previously 41%. Vow Earthquake now has 100% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 70, scaling up to 172% at gem level 20, previously 106%. Vow Firestorm now has a 600% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 760% at gem level 20, previously 760% at all gem levels. Vow Flicker Strike now has 174% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 142%, scaling up to 362% at gem level 20, previously 210%. Vow Glacial Hammer no longer has cold damage added against chilled enemies at all gem levels. It now has 280%, 18% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 155%, scaling up to 552% at gem level 20, previously 250%. Vow Ground Slam now has 218%. Vow Ground Slam now has 218% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 190%, scaling up to 522% at gem level 20, previously 375%. Vow Ice Shot no longer has added cold damage at all gem levels. It now has 75% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 65%, scaling up to 100% at gem level 20, previously 87%. Vow Lightning Arrow no longer has added lightning damage at all gem levels. It now has 72% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 62%, scaling up to 90 at gem level 20, previously 78%. Vow Lightning Strike no longer has added lightning damage at all gem levels. It now has 114% effectiveness of Vow Lightning Strike no longer has added lightning damage at all gem levels. It now has 114% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 105%, scaling up to 237% at gem level 20, previously 163%. Vow Molten Shell. As a result of the level requirement change for the base gem, the buff now grants a plus 115 flat to armor and gem at level 1, previously plus 50, and is unchanged at gem level 20. Vow Molten Strike no longer has added fire damage at all gem levels. It now has 87% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 70%, scaling up to 199% at gem level 20, previously 110%. Vow Power Siphon now has 115% attack speed of base at all gem levels, previously 100%. It also now has increases and reductions of spell damage also applied to attack damage from the skill at 150% of their value at all gem levels. Vow Reap now has 310% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 420 blaze it at gem level 20. Previously 420% blaze it at all gem levels. Vow Reeve now has 295% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 250%, scaling up to 613% at gem level 20, previously 350%. Vow Smite now has 345% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 300, scaling up to 753%, holy shit, at gem level 20, previously 430%. Vow Spectral Throw now has 85% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 70%, scaling up to 135% at gem level 20, previously 110%. Vow Venom Gyre now has 150% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 125%, scaling up to 200 at gem level 20, previously 165%. Vow Volcanic Fissure now has 201% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 150%, scaling up to 352% at gem level 20, previously 220%. Whew. Support gem balance. Okay, before I get to this one, I need to make a real quick pause. All right, let's get back to it. Support gem balance. Chance to Bleed can now support skills that create minions. No longer causes support attacks to deal added physical damage with weapons. Support attacks now deal 10% more damage with bleeding at gem level 1, previously 0%, scaling up to 29% at gem level 20, previously 19%. That's good, good buff. Decay. Support skills inflict decay on hit, now dealing 163 chaos damage per second for 8 seconds at gem level 1, previously 120, with values of 1034 at gem level 20, previously 843%. Good. Earthbreaker granted by the Dawnstrider unique boots. Support skills now deal 0% less damage at gem level 1, previously 19%, scaling up to 19% more damage at gem level 20, previously 0% less damage. No longer provides 10 to 19% increased area of effect with melee skills while the totem is active. Fist of War, my beloved, no longer has ancestrally boosted slams deal more damage with ailments. Instead, ancestrally boosted slams deal more damage with hits, now also applies to ailments at the same value. So the damage values of the gem are not changed. Okay. Okay, yeah. This is a buff, I think. Maybe with the buffs and the melee skills, maybe Fist of War will find its place again. Impending Doom. Doom Blast now has 220% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 370% at gem level 20, previously 370% at all gem levels. Increased Duration has been renamed to More Duration Support. You guessed it, it now grants support skills 30% skill effect duration at gem level 1, scaling up to 39% at gem level 20, previously 45 to 64% increased skill effect duration. Quality now grants support skills have 0 to 10% more skill effect duration, previously increased. Okay. Infused I don't know if this changes, because of how it's worded and how it's implemented, maybe it evens out, but I feel like this is a nerf. Infused Channeling no longer has the duration tag, and is now an intelligence/dexterity support gem. It now requires 70 intelligence and 48 dexterity at gem level 20, previously 111 intelligence. No longer has infusion lasts 6 seconds after you finish channeling. Gain fusion after channeling a supported skill for 1 second, or infusion grants 10% more damage of types matching supported skill gem tags. It now has while channeling a supported skill, take 8% less damage from hits, previously from hits of types matching the skill gem tags. Support skills now deal 20% more damage at gem level 1, previously 15%, scaling up to 29% at gem level 20, previously 24%. Quality now provides while channeling a support skill takes 0 to 2% less damage from hits. Previously gain fusion after channeling a support skill for 0 to minus 0.4 seconds. Good buff in infused channeling, actually. Good buffs, much more reliable, much more, sturdy. Inspiration now causes supported skills to have less mana cost instead of reduced. This also applies to the benefit improved by quality. Okay, we have to see how that plays out. Prismatic Burst now has 100% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling to 280% at gem level 20, previously 280% at all gem levels. Rage no longer causes support attacks to deal added physical damage with weapons per 10 rage, or support attacks to deal added physical damage with weapons while you have at least 10 rage. It also no longer causes support skills to grant 1 rage on melee hit, no more than once every 0.4 seconds. Instead, it now has gain 3 rage on attack hit at all gem levels, and causes support skills to have 10% attack speed while you have at least 10 rage at gem level 1, scaling up to 19% at gem level 20. Okay. Okay. Shockwave now has 230% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 160%, scaling up to 336% at gem level 20, previously 260%. Trauma now has supported skills have 2 to 3 added physical damage per trauma at gem level 1, previously 3 to 4, scaling up to 10 to 17 at gem level 20, previously 11 to 24. Urgent Orders. Supported skills no longer have plus 2 seconds to cooldown. Now has a cost and reservation multiplier of 200%. Previously 130. Holy shit. Ascendancy changes. Oh boy, here we go. Berserker. The Crave the Slaughter Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides plus 10 to maximum rage or gain 1 rage on hit with attacks no more than once every 0.3 seconds. Instead, it now provides every rage also grants plus 1% increased attack speed and inherent rage loss starts 2 seconds later. The small passive prior now causes you to gain 1 rage on melee hit instead of providing 6% increased attack speed. The Rite of Ruin Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides inherent effects from having rage are tripled, or cannot be stunned while you have at least 25 rage. It now provides 50% increased rage effect. The small passive prior now causes you to gain 1 rage on melee hit instead of providing 6% increased attack speed. The Warbringer Ascendancy passive no longer provides Warcry grant 10 rage per 5 power if you have less than 25 rage. Warcry sacrifice 10 rage if you have at least 25 rage. Or exerted attacks deal 50% more damage and more attack damage if a Warcry sacrificed rage recently. It now provides Warcry exerts twice as many attacks. Okay. The small Berserker Ascendancy passive that provides 6% increased attack speed now provide 5%. Chieftain. The Talhoa Forest Strength Ascendancy passive skill has been removed. This can no longer roll on Forbidden Jewels, though existing versions will still function. Okay. The Arohongi. Does it pronounce Arohongui or Arohongi? I'll say Arohongui. The Arohongui Moon's Presence Ascendancy passive skill has been replaced with the new Scion Sun's Roar Ascendancy, new passive skill, which provides Warcries have infinite power. Huh! And 30% increased Warcry buff effect. The small node prior now provides 15% increased Warcry duration instead of 10% increased totem placement speed. Tukohama War's Herald now requires Scion, Sun's Roar, or Hinekora Death's Fury. Juggernaut. The Unrelenting Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides plus 4% to Chaos Resistance per Endurance Charge or 8% reduced elemental damage. Or 8% reduced elemental damage taken while at maximum endurance charges. Instead, it now provides 1% additional elemental damage reduction per endurance charge. The Unbreakable Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides 8% of armor applies to fire, cold, or lightning damage taken from hits. It now has a 15% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits. So damage over time like poison and stuff doesn't apply. Okay. The small Juggernaut Ascendancy passive that provided 6% increased attack speed now provides 5%. Champion. The Unstoppable Hero Ascendancy passive skill has swapped positions with Fortitude. Unstoppable Hero no longer grants 20% increased attack speed while fortified, plus 500 to armor and evasion rating while fortified, or cannot be stunned while fortified. Instead, it now provides nearby allies count as having fortification equal to yours. Oh my god, this is fucking awful. Oh man, this is so bad. What the fuck? The Fortitude Ascendancy passive skill now provides you have 15 per fortification, previously 20. Holy fuck. The Inspirational The Inspirational Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides banner skills have no reservation. It now grants when you have your banners when you leave your banners area, recover 30% of the valor consumed for that banner. Instead of when you create a banner, it gains 40% of the stage's place of sorry. It now grants when you leave your banner's area, recover 30% of the valor consumed for that banner. Instead of when you create a banner, it gains 40% of the stages of your placed banner. Holy fuck, man. Champion got hit pretty bad. Holy shit. Gladiator. The Gladiator Ascendancy has been completely rebalanced. Below are the new passive skills available to the Gladiator. The War of Attrition Ascendancy passive skill causes you to deal 1% more damage with hits and ailments to rare and unique enemies for each second they have been in your presence, up to a maximum of 100%. The small passive Prior provides 10% increased attack damage and 5% attack speed. So, okay. Determined Survivor Ascendancy passive skill causes you to gain 50% base chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value, and causes inherent bonuses from dual wielding to be doubled. Oh, this is very good. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and plus 3% chance to block attack damage. That's very good, actually. The More Than Skill Ascendancy passive skill causes your chance to block attack or spell damage to be lucky if you have blocked recently. Requires Determined Survivor. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and plus 3% chance to block attack damage. The Measured Retaliation Ascendancy passive skill provides retaliation skills can be used for an additional 2 seconds and 50% chance for retaliation skills to remain usable after use. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and plus 3% chance to block attack damage. The Gratuitous Violence Ascendancy passive skill causes bleeding enemies you kill to explode, dealing 20% of their maximum life as physical damage. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and attacks have 15% chance to cause bleeding. The Jagged Technique Ascendancy passive skill causes bleeding you inflict to be aggravated, requires Gratuitous Violence. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and attacks have 15% chance to cause bleeding. Bleeding which has been aggravated always deals higher damage as though the target was moving. The Weapon Master Ascendancy passive skill provides 25% more accuracy rating while wielding a sword, 20% more area of effect while wielding a mace or scepter, 20% more critical strike chance while wielding a dagger, 20% of leech is instant while wielding a claw, and 30% more damage with hits and ailments against enemies that are on low life while you are wielding an axe. The small passive Prior provides 5% increased attack speed and 10% increased damage with one-handed weapons. The small Gladiator Ascendancy passive that provides 15% increased damage with one-handed weapons now provides 10%. Alright. Deadeye. The Rupturing Ascendancy passive skill has been replaced with the new Avidity Ascendancy passive skill. This new passive provides 5% more accuracy per frenzy charge, plus 1 to maximum frenzy charges, and gain a frenzy charge each second while moving. Okay. The Gathering Winds Ascendancy passive skill now provides 10% increased effective tailwind per gale force, previously 15%. The Wind Ward Ascendancy passive skill now provides 4% less damage taken per gale force, previously 3%. The Far Shot Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides Far Shot. It now provides projectiles gain damage as they travel farther, dealing up to 30% more damage to targets. Warden, Rip Raider. The Warden has replaced the Raider. Below are the Ascendancy passive skills available for this Ascendancy. Oh boy, here we go. The Oath of Spring Ascendancy passive skill causes shock from your hits to increase damage taken by 2% and provides you can apply up to 50 shocks to each enemy. The small passive prior has 15% increased evasion rating and 10% chance to shock. Okay. The Oath of Winter Ascendancy passive skill causes enemies you freeze to remain frozen for at least 2 seconds and causes freezing hits that do not freeze to apply Hoarfrost. Hoarfrost increases freeze duration on enemies by 20% per stack. Freezing an enemy removes all stacks of Hoarfrost from them. Hoarfrost lasts 10 seconds and refreshes the duration of existing Hoarfrost. The small passive prior has 15% increased evasion rating and 10% chance to freeze. This to me smells like stuff that is being cooked up in Path of Exile 2 and they ported to Path of Exile 1 to see what happens. The Oath of Summer Ascendancy passive skill provides if you would ignite an enemy, you scorch them instead, and you can apply an additional scorch to each enemy. The small passive prior has 15% increased evasion rating and 10% chance to ignite. The Avatar of the Wild's Ascendancy passive skill grants level 20 Unbound Avatar skill. Gain 1 Unbound Fury when you inflict an elemental ailment with a hit on an enemy, no more than once every 0.2 seconds, for each type of ailment, and cannot gain Unbound Fury while unbound. It also provides your hits always inflict freeze, shock, and ignite while unbound, and 80% more elemental damage while unbound. Requires Oath of Spring, Oath of Winter, or Oath of Summer. The small passives prior each provide 15% increased evasion rating and 10% increased duration of elemental ailments on enemies. The Enduring Suffusion Ascendancy passive skill causes tincture effects to linger on you for 0.5 seconds per mana burn on you when the tincture was deactivated, up to a maximum of 6 seconds. It also causes tinctures applied to you to have 30% less mana burn rate. The small passive prior provides 15% increased evasion rating and causes tinctures applied to you to have 10% increased effect. The Experienced Herbalist Ascendancy passive skill allows you to have an additional tincture active, requiring Enduring Suffusion or Seasoned Hunter. The small passive prior provides 15% increased evasion rating and causes tinctures applied to you to have 10% increased effect. The Seasoned Hunter Ascendancy passive skill causes tincture effects to also apply to ranged weapon attacks. The small passive prior provides 15% increased evasion rating and causes tincture applied to you to have 10% increased effect. The Mother's Teachings Ascendancy passive skill grants level 20 Bark Skin, with the small passive prior providing plus 5% chance to suppress spell damage and 15% increased evasion rating. The Lesson of the Seasons Ascendancy passive skill provides minus 15 to fire, cold, and lightning damage taken from spell hits per bark, prevent plus 2% suppressed spell damage per bark below maximum, and lose 1 bark when hit by an enemy spell. Woof, woof, woof. The small passive prior provides plus 5% chance to suppress spell damage and 15% increased evasion rating. So, Raider was the, Frenzy Charge Ascendancy, and it's now the Tincture Ascendancy and some elemental ailment stuff. I don't know what to think about it. I feel like I liked Raider more than Warden, but then again, maybe with correct gear, proper build, all that stuff, people can cook up cool builds with Warden. Like, I'm going with this with an open mind. I feel like I liked Raider more than Warden, but maybe people can cook some cool stuff up. Gotta see. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh my god, it's garbage. No. But I am cautiously hopeful that the community will torture Path of Building enough to cook up something nice to this. Alright. Ascendant. The Berserker Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides gain 1 rage on hit with attacks no more than once every 0.3 seconds. Instead, it now provides inherent rage loss starts 1 second later. The Chieftain Ascendancy passive skill no longer grants totem taunt enemies around them for 2 seconds when summoned. Instead, it now provides 20% increased Warcry buff effect. The Deadeye Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides projectile gain damage as they travel farther, dealing up to 50% increased damage with hits to targets. It instead now provides gain a frenzy charge every 3 seconds while moving. Okay. The Gladiator Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides hits ignore enemy monster physical damage reduction if you have blocked in the past 20 seconds. Plus 5% to maximum chance to block attack damage, 20% more physical damage over time, 25% to blind enemies on hit with attacks, or plus 10% chance to block attack damage. Holy fuck, did a lot of stuff. It now provides 25% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with attacks. Gain 50% base chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield value. Inherent bonuses from dual wielding are doubled. Deal 1% more damage with hits and ailments to rare and unique enemies for every 2 seconds they have been in your presence, up to a maximum of 50%. Okay. The Raider Ascendancy notable passive is now called Warden. It no longer provides 10% increase in movement speed, 10% chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit a rare or unique enemy, phasing, or causes you to have onslaught while on full frenzy charges. Instead, it now causes attack damage to penetrate 8% of enemy elemental resistances and provide you can have an additional tincture active. Oh my god. I can tell no man, I can tell no Ascendant build will take this for the tincture stuff. If they get to use the Warden passive, they will get for the elemental resistance. But even then, I find hard that people use this. But then again, I have been wrong before. Passive skill tree changes. We are almost there. There are now... Okay, I'm gonna drink water first. Give me a second. Alright. Passive skill tree changes. There are now more notables on the passive skill tree than there are oil combinations to anoint them all. As a result of this, notable passive skills that provided plus 30 to an attribute can no longer be anointed. Oof. Ugh. The Vow Pact Keystone passive skill no longer provides any of its current stats. It now provides life leech from melee damage is instant and cannot recover life from other than from life leech. Let's fucking go, man! Vow Pact is back, baby! The Impaler Keystone passive skill now provides inflict 5 additional impales on enemies you impale, previously 4, and for 5 seconds after you impale enemies, they cannot be impaled again, and impales cannot be called from them, previously 4 seconds. The Versatile Combatant Keystone passive skill has swapped positions with the Iron Reflexes Keystone passive skill. It now provides minus 10% to maximum chance to block attack damage and chance to block spell damage, both previously minus 25%. So, good buff on the skill. The drawback is much less powerful. Very good. This keystone I think this keystone now might see use, I think. The Warlord's Call Keystone passive skill is once again known as Call to Arms. It no longer provides war cries, no longer exert attacks, or war cries also grant their buffs to nearby allies. Instead, it now provides 100% more war cry duration, and war cries do not grant buffs or charges to you. The Perfect Agony Keystone passive skill no longer causes modifiers to critical strike multiplier to also apply to damage over time multiplier for ailments from critical strikes at 50% of their value, or provides 30% less damage with hits. Instead, it now causes damage over time multiplier for ailments to be equal to critical strike multiplier, causes critical strikes to not deal extra damage, and makes it so non-critical strikes cannot inflict ailments. Added a new bleeding passive mastery that provides 25% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with exerted attacks. Added a new As the Mountain cluster to the southwest of the Marauder starting location. As the Mountain provides plus 12% chance to block attack damage while dual wielding or holding a shield, and plus 3% chance to block attack damage. That's cool. Added a new As the Thunder cluster to the west of the Marauder starting location. As the Thunder provides 20% increased Warcry duration and Warcry buff effect. Ooh, that's pretty good. Added a new Brutal Skewering cluster to the south of the Duelist starting location. Brutal Skewering provides impales you inflict last one additional hit. Added a new Cornered Prey cluster to the southeast of the Duelist starting location. Cornered Prey provides plus 30% to critical strike multiplier against bleeding enemies and 80% increased critical strike chance against bleeding enemies. Added a new Feline Swiftness cluster to the southeast of the Duelist starting location. Feline Swiftness provides 10% chance to block attack damage while dual wielding and 8% increased movement speed while dual wielding. That's very good. Block chance and movement speed, that's amazing for leveling. Added a new Leader of the Pack cluster to the southeast of the Duelist starting location. Leader of the Pack provides 20% increased area of effect of aura skills and 12% increased reservation efficiency of skills. Very good. Added a new Master of Wounds cluster to the southwest of the Duelist starting location. Master of Wounds provides plus 12% to damage over time multiplier for bleeding and 30% reduced bleeding duration on you. Southeast. Okay. Added a new Nomadic Teachings cluster to the northwest of the Templar starting location. Nomadic Teachings provides plus 2% to all maximum elemental resistances. Fucking beautiful. Added a new Roaring Challenge cluster to the south of the Duelist starting location. Roaring Challenge provides 25% increased total power counted by war cries. Good. Added a new Savage Skewering cluster to the south of the Duelist starting location. Savage Skewering provides 15% increased impale effect. Added a new Spirit of War cluster to the southwest of the Duelist starting location. Spirit of War provides 0.5% of physical attack damage leached as mana and 15% reduced mana cost of attacks. Southwest. Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh man, good for Duelist and Marauder. Added a new Thrill of Battle cluster to the east of the Ranger starting location. Thrill of Battle causes you to gain 2 mana per enemy hit with attacks and provides 15% reduced mana cost of attacks. Added a new Wall of Steel cluster to the southwest of the Marauder starting location. Wall of Steel provides plus 10% chance to block attack damage while dual wielding or holding a shield, and plus 300 armor if you have blocked recently. Added a new Wicked Blade cluster to the southwest of the Duelist starting location. Wicked Blade now provides 30% increased damage with bleeding and 20% increased bleeding duration. Added a new Wild Hunger cluster to the southeast of the Ranger starting location. Wild Hunger now provides 0.8% of attack damage leached as life and 30% increased maximum total life recovery per second from leech. The attack passive mastery that causes nearby enemies to be intimidated while you have rage has been replaced with a new passive mastery that causes attack skills to cost life instead of 20%. Jesus Christ. The attack passive mastery that causes nearby enemies to be intimidated while you have rage has been replaced with a new passive mastery that causes attack skills to cost life instead of 20% of mana cost. Good. I mean, intimidating was good, but mitigating mana cost is also good. It's an option. The bleeding passive mastery that provides 60% increased damage with bleeding inflicted on poison enemies has been replaced with a new mastery that provides 50% chance to aggravated bleeding on targets you stun with attack hits. Okay. 50% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you stun with attack hits. Awful for bosses. The bleeding passive mastery that provides 60% increased bleeding duration has been replaced with a new mastery that causes attack hits to aggravate any bleeding on targets which is older than 4 seconds. Very good for bosses. The block passive mastery that provided 3% increased spell damage per 5% chance to block spell damage has been changed to provide +1 chance to block spell damage plus per 5% chance to block attack damage. So it's fully defensive now. Okay. The block passive mastery that provided 3% increased attack damage per 5% increased block attack damage has been removed. Okay. The dual wielding passive mastery that causes dual wielding to grant spell block instead of attack block now grants +20% chance to block spell damage, previously 15%. Neat buff. The 10% of physical damage from hits taken as scale damage, armor, and energy shield passive mastery has been replaced with a mastery that provides 20% reduced extra damage taken from critical strikes. Okay. The 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits, armor, and energy shield passive mastery has been replaced with a mastery that provides 20% reduced effect of curses on you. The life passive mastery that causes skills to cost life instead of 30% of mana cost now has a value of 15%. Okay, yeah, there's another passive that we now kind of have to take, I think, but that's gonna depend. The life passive skill mastery that provided +50 to maximum life now provides +30. God fucking damn it. Okay, I mean, it's fair because now rares give more HP, so okay, fair deal. The physical passive mastery that provided a chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction has been increased from 40% to 50%. The impale passive mastery that provided 20% overwhelm for impale now causes damage with impale to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. What the fuck? The minion offense passive mastery that provided 20% overwhelm for minion attacks now provides 50% chance for minion hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The blood... Oh man, Gazi is just... Oh, he's just gooning all over his room. Holy shit. The Bloodletting notable passive skill no longer provides 40% increased attack damage against bleeding enemies. Instead, it now provides 10% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with attacks. The Measured Fury cluster has been relocated to the west of the Marauder starting location. The Deep Breath's notable passive skill no longer provides 20% total power counted by Warcries. It now provides 30% increased Warcry recovery rate, previously 30%, and Warcry skills and causes Warcry skills to have 40% increased area of effect, previously 30%. So, rebalancing. The two small Warcry buff effect passives prior to Natural Authority now provide 10% increased Warcry buff effect, previously 8%. The Cannibalistic Rite notable passive skill no longer has 10% reduced life cost of skills, recover 2% of life on kill if you have spent life recently, or 30% increased damage with skills that cost life. Instead, it now causes attack skills to cost life instead of 10% of mana, and provides 15% reduced mana cost of attacks. The passive mastery for this cluster is now mana, previously life. The two small damage with life cost skills and reduced life cost passives is in this cluster have been replaced with two that each provide 8% reduced mana cost of attacks. The Sanctuary notable passive skill now provides plus 1% to all maximum elemental resistances instead of plus 12% elemental resistances while holding a shield. Nice. The small entry passive to this cluster now provides plus 5% elemental resistances while holding a shield, previously plus 6%. The other two remaining small passives, one now provides plus 3% chance to block spell damage while holding a shield, previously plus 2%, the other providing plus 3% chance to block attack damage while holding a shield, previously 2%, with both now providing plus 3% elemental resistances while holding a shield, previously 6%. So, you now have an extra maximum, but have to get more elemental resistances from somewhere else, namely gear. The Bastion Breaker notable passive skill now provides 50% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction instead of overwhelm 20% physical damage reduction. The Razor's Edge notable passive skill now provides 30% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction instead of 20% overwhelm. The Martial Experience notable passive skill now provides... This is actually very bad for builds that take less hits, like that uses less attack speed and more like stronger hits instead of faster hits. The Martial Experience notable passive skill now provides 30% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction instead of 12% overwhelm. The Master of Blades notable passive skill now provides 30% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction instead of 10% overwhelm. The Snow Nodes prior to it now grants 10% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The Merciless Skewering notable passive skill now provides 15% increased Impale effect instead of 15% overwhelm for Impale and 5% increased Impale effect. The Forceful Skewering notable passive skill now provides 15% chance to Impale instead of 25% overwhelm for Impale and 10% chance to Impale. The Whirling Barrier notable passive skill now provides plus 8% attack and spell block chance while wielding a staff, previously 6%. An additional staff block small passive has been added before it. The Ribcage Crusher cluster has been moved to the outer edge of the bottom of the tree. The area of effect path now has one passive, previously 2, and the attack speed path now has 2 passives, previously 1. The Bonebreaker notable passive skill now provides 15% increased area of effect, previously 12%. The Slaughter notable passive skill now provides 1 rage on hit with excess, previously plus 5 to maximum rage. Nice! The Lust for Carnage notable passive skill no longer provides increased recovery from Life Leech. It now provides 1.5% of physical attack damage leached as life, previously 1.2%, and 15% increased attack speed, previously 12%. The Command of Steel notable passive skill now provides plus 8% chance... The Command of Steel notable passive skill now provides plus 8% attack block chance with a shield and 50% increased defenses from equipped shield. Previously plus 5% attack block chance and 30% increased attack damage. The passives leading up to it now both grant 50% increased defenses from equipped shield, previously 40% increased on one passive, and plus 3% attack block chance and 10% increased attack damage on the other. The Testudo notable passive skill now provides plus 10% attack block chance with a shield, previously 6%. The Blade Barrier notable passive skill now provides plus 10% attack block chance while dual wielding, previously plus 5%. The Berserking notable passive skill now provides plus 5 to maximum power to maximum rage, previously plus 10. The passives leading to it now grant 4% increased attack speed, previously 3%, and 20% slower loss of rage. The Swagger notable passive skill now provides plus 8% attack block chance while dual wielding, previously plus 5%. The Bloodletting notable passive skill now provides 10% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with attacks. Previously 40% increased attack damage against bleeding enemies. The Hematophagy notable passive skill no longer provides 40% increased damage while leeching. It now provides 40% increase in maximum total life recovery per second from leech, previously 10%. The increased maximum life recovery per second passives in the hematophagy cluster now grants 15%, previously 10%. The increased recovery per second passive now provides 60%, previously 50%, but no longer provides 0.6% of physical attack damage leached as life. The Spirit Void notable passive skill now provides 1% of attack damage leached as mana, previously 0.8%, and 40% increase in maximum total mana recovery per second from leech, previously 25%, but no longer provides 60% increase in total recovery per second from mana leech. The passive immediately before it no longer provides 0.4% of attack damage leached as mana, but now provides 60% increase in total recovery per second from mana leech, previously 40%. Okay. The Vitality Void notable passive skill now provides 0.1% of attack damage leached as life, previously 0.8%, and 40% increase in maximum total life recovery per second from leech, previously 15%. But no longer provides 60% increase in total recovery per second from life leech. The passive immediately before it no longer provides 0.4% of attack damage leached as life, but now provides 60% increase in total recovery per second from life leech, previously 40%. The Cannibalistic Rite cluster has been reworked and now connects the Marauder starting area. The small passives grant 8% reduced in mana cost of attacks, nice, and the notable provides 15% reduced in mana cost of attacks and attack costs life instead of 10% of mana costs. Very good. The Taste for Blood notable passive skill now provides 1% of attack damage leached as life, previously 0.6%, and 30% increase in maximum total life recovery per second from leech, previously 20%. One of the small passives preceding it now provides 60% increase in total recovery per second from life leech, previously 0.4% of the attack damage leached as life. The Dark Arts cluster has been moved near Pain Attunement. Dark Arts now provide plus 8% attack and spell block chance while dual wielding, previously 5%. The Enigmatic Reach notable passive skill now provides plus 8% spell block chance while wielding a staff and 25% chance to gain a power charge when you block spell damage, but no longer provides 10% increased attack and cast speed. It now has an additional path consisting of two passives which provide plus 4% spell block chance while wielding a staff. The Enigmatic Defense notable passive skill now provides plus 8% attack and spell chance while wielding a staff, previously 6%. The Arcane Guarding notable passive skill now provides plus 10% spell block chance while holding a shield, previously 8%. The Arcane Sanctuary cluster has been removed to the top of the Witch area. Arcane Sanctuary now grants plus 8% spell block chance while holding a shield, 25% increased spell damage while holding a shield, previously 30%, and 25% reduced duration of elemental ailments on you while holding a shield, previously 30%. The Spine Cruncher notable passive skill now provides 100% increased stun duration against enemies on full life, previously 60%. The passives prior to it now grant 16% increased physical damage with maces or scepters, previously 14%. Aggressive Bastion notable passive skill now provides plus 8% attack block chance with a shield, previously plus 5%. The Safeguard notable passive skill now provides plus 10% spell block chance while holding a staff or shield, previously 6%, and now additionally grants plus 3% to maximum spell block chance, but no longer grants plus 8% to elemental resistances. The Steelwood Stance notable passive skill now provides plus 10% attack block chance while wielding a staff, previously 8%. The Deflection notable passive skill now provides plus 8 attack block chance with a shield, 8% attack block chance with a shield, previously plus 5%. There's a small typo there. Small passive skill nodes in the Vanquisher cluster now provide 10% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction instead of 5% overwhelm. Added a new small passive skill node in the Kinetic Impacts cluster that provides 14% increased physical damage with two-handed melee weapons. Attacks with two-handed melee weapons deal 14 increased damage with ailments, and hits have 15% chance to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The Staff Damage and Stun Duration small passives prior to Smashing Strikes now grant 16% increased staff damage, previously 15%. There are now 3 of those nodes instead of 2. The entry passive to the Ambidexterity/Blade Barrier cluster now provides 8% increased attack damage while dual wielding, previously 12%, and additionally now provides 2% attack block chance while dual wielding. The small passive nodes from the Arcane Expanse cluster now grant 10% increased spell area of effect, previously 5%, but no longer grant 10% increased spell damage. The small passive nodes in the Brinkmanship cluster now grant 10% increased melee area of effect, previously 5%, but no longer grant 10% increased melee damage. Oh. Man, holy shit. Okay, give me a second. We are almost there. Unique item changes. The Adorn unique jewel now has 0 to 100% increased effect of jewel socket passive skills containing corrupted magic jewels, previously 50 to 150%. Holy shit, that's a massive nerf. The Dancing Dervish unique sword no longer has Manifested Dancing Dervishes disable both weapon slots. It now has Cannot be used while manifested, meaning you can now weapon swap after manifesting dervishes and still use items in your second weapon set. That's very good. That's very good. The Defiance of Destiny unique amulet now causes you to gain 10 to 20% of missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy, previously 25 to 35%. Existing versions of this item can be made worse using with a Divine Orb. Man, the price of this item at 35% on standard is going to be just... Jesus Christ. The Elixir of the Unbroken Circle, the unique flask, now has 50 to 80% increased flask duration, previously 20 to 40%. Existing items can obtain these new values with a Divine Orb. The Eternal Damnation unique amulet now has cannot gain endurance charges and cannot gain power charges. The Hand of the Fervent unique gloves now cause hits to have a 35 to 50% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, while you have Sacrificial Zeal instead of 10 to 15% overwhelm while you have sacrificial zeal. Existing items can be updated to the new values with a divine orb. The Calm's Heart unique body armor no longer has 20 to 40% increased fire damage and once again has a plus 1000 to maximum life, previously plus 500. Existing versions of this item can be updated to the pre.1.0.0 version using a divine orb. The Lethal Pride unique jewels that added physical damage taken as fire damage to notables now instead give 1 rage on melee hit. The Lycosidae unique shield now adds 250 to 300 cold damage to retaliation skill, previously counterattacks. The Martyr of Innocence unique staff no longer grants level 15 vengeance skill. The Night Grip unique gloves now have gain added chaos damage equal to 10% of ward, previously 20%. A divine orb can be used to obtain this new value. You can use a divine orb to make this item worse, yep. The Oroth's Resolve unique flask now has 85% less ward during effect, previously 70. Existing items can be made worse with a divine orb. The Perfidy unique body armor no longer has, you can have 2 different banners at the same time. Banners you are carrying gain 1 stage on melee hit up to 5 per second. Defiance banner has 100 to 200% increased taunt duration. Dread banner grants an additional plus 2 to 4 maximum fortification when placing the banner. Or War banner has 100 to 200% increased adrenaline duration. It now has having a placed banner does not prevent you from gaining valor. This change affects existing versions of this item. Ah, interesting. The replica Innsbury Edge unique sword no longer has 10% of physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage, though existing versions will still suffer this modifier. The Rigwold's Command unique sword now has each rage also grants plus 2% to damage over time multiplier for bleeding while wielding an axe, previously plus 1%. You can obtain this new value on an existing item with a divine orb. This is a buff. The Surrender unique shield no longer grants level 30 reckoning skill. Existing versions of this unique will now grant Crushing Fist. Huh. Okay. The Taste of Hate unique flask no longer has 10 to 15% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage during effect. Instead, it now has 20 to 30% of fire and lightning damage from hits taken as cold damage during the effect. Oh, so it's only the elemental that changes. Okay. The Reckless Defense and Replica Reckless Defense unique jewels now provide plus 2 to 6% chance to block attack damage and to block spell damage, both previously plus 2 to 4%. Existing items can be updated with a divine orb if they are not corrupted. Drink water more. This is true, guys. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Alright. Item changes. Item quality has been reworked. The rarity of the item is no longer relevant when applying Cartographer's Chisel, Blacksmith's Whetstones, Armorer's Scraps, Glassblower's Bubbles, and Catalysts to non-unique items. Instead, the amount of quality they provide is now based on the item level. These currencies now apply 20% to very low level equipment, with this amount reducing as the item level increases. This is a fucking beautiful, super elegant way to balance out the resources, because League start, you barely have any resources and you have shit gear. And as you progress in the League, you're gonna have a bunch of resources and better gear. So you can't just throw a million whetstones and shit at your gear. So fucking perfect. Just beautiful decision. Beautiful. Quality bonuses on armor, weapons, and flasks are now multiplicative. Weapons with full quality will give 20% more physical damage, and armor with full quality will have 20% more local defenses. Non-gem items that generate with random quality will now generate with... Sorry. Non-gem items that generate with a random quality can now generate up to 30% quality. Okay. The maximum random quality from tainted armorer's scraps and tainted blacksmith's whetstones is now 20%, previously 29%. Tainted armorer's scraps and tainted blacksmith's whetstones are now rare relative to other tainted currencies, so their prices are gonna skyrocket. The bestiary recipe to corrupt an equipment the bestiary recipe to corrupt an equipment to have 30% quality now instead corrupts a map to have 30% quality. Come on, bruh. NPCs will no longer have items that can be purchased with quality currency items and no longer sell glassblower bubbles. Rewards from League current content that granted 30% quality equipment now instead grants 20% quality equipment. Honed Cleaver's implicit modifier is now hits with this weapon have 50% chance to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, previously plus 30% to maximum quality. This does not affect existing items. Apex Cleaver is now deals 78 to 121 physical damage, previously 71 to 111. This implicit modifiers now hits with this weapon ignore enemy physical damage reduction, previously plus 40% to maximum quality. The base damage change affects existing items, but the implicit change does not. The cartographer's chisel vendor recipe now only accepts a gavel-based type rather than a stone hammers or rock breakers. Corrupted and mirrored items are able to be unveiled once again. Oh, that's very good. The Master of Command Cluster Jewel notable passive now causes banner skills to have 10% increased aura effect and 20% increased area of effect instead. It no longer provides 15% increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills on enemies or 100% increased mana reservation skills of banner skills. Okay. The Iron Breaker Cluster Jewel notable passive now provides 50% increase for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction and 30% increased physical damage, instead of 10% overwhelm and 35% increased physical damage. The Rapid Infusion Cluster Jewel notable passive has been replaced with a new Unrestrained Focus notable, which causes channeling skills to have 8% increased attack and cast speed and provides unaffected by chill while channeling. The prefix life modifiers that can roll on body armor have been adjusted. The tier that previously provided plus 10 to 29 and now provides plus 10 to 24 to maximum life, scaling up to provide values of 175 to 189 at the highest tier. Previously plus 120 to 129. The values provided by Essence of Greed when applied to body armor have been adjusted accordingly. Oh, it's just body armor. I see. Okay. The suffix modifiers on weapons that provided increased burning damage, increased damage with bleeding and attack chance to cause bleeding, or increased damage with poison and chance to poison and hit can no longer roll. Sorry. Perfect Fossil has been renamed to Opulent Fossil and no longer grants improved quality. Instead, it now grants more drop modifiers and no tagless modifiers. The incursion modifiers that provided increased spell damage and gain percentage of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage has been replaced with a modifier that triggers a socketed spell on using a skill with a 4-second cooldown. Spells triggered this way have more cost. Regular jewels, i.e. jewels that are not abyss or cluster jewels, can now roll suffix modifiers for maximum fire, cold, or lightning resistance. Many modifiers that granted physical damage taken as element or chaos can no longer roll. This includes Incursion Temple and Delve modifiers on helmets, Corruption modifiers on shields, Fire Warbands modifiers on helmets, and all Watcher's Eyes modifiers. Essence of Horror on body armor now grants 10% reduced damage from critical strikes per endurance charge instead of 15% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage. Added a new set of modifiers for Purity auras that can roll on Watcher's Eyes to replace the physical damage taken as elemental damage above. New Eldritch implicit modifiers for body armors have been added that grant physical damage taken as fire, cold, lightning, or chaos. Okay. Gravicious signature veiled modifier is now banner aura effect instead of physical damage taken as fire and lightning damage. Corral's signature veiled modifier is now Warcry buff effect instead of physical damage taken as fire damage. Added a series of Eldritch implicit glove modifiers that provide a chance to aggravated bleeding on targets you hit with attacks. Iron Flask now lasts 4 seconds, previously 5, and Ruthless it lasts 2.5 seconds. Jesus Christ. The values for chance to block attack damage and chance to block spell damage on cluster jewels, notables, and timeless jewel passives has been increased. In some cases, the chance to suppress spell damage has also been increased. The values for chance to block attack damage and chance to block spell damage have also been increased for regular and abyss jewels. The Hunter influenced weapon modifier that previously provided 13 to 16 and 17 to 20% overwhelm with this weapon now provide 50 to 65 and 66 to 80% chance for hits with this weapon to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, respectively. The Hunter influenced one-hand weapon modifiers that previously provided 7 to 8% and 9 to 10% global overwhelm now provide 25 to 29% and 30 to 35% chance for hits with this weapon to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, respectively. Sorry. The Hunter influenced two-handed weapons modifiers that previously provided 13 to 16% and 17 to 20% global overwhelm now provide 50 to 59% and 60 to 70% chance for hits with this weapon to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, respectively. The Hunter influenced belt modifiers that previously provided 8 to 11% and 12 to 15% overwhelm now provide 30 to 39% and 40 to 50% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, respectively. The Eater of Worlds glove implicit modifiers that previously provided between 8 and 19% overwhelm now provide between, you guessed it, 30% and 50% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction, respectively. The Eater of Worlds glove implicit modifiers that previously provided between 16% and 25% overwhelm while unique enemies in your presence now provides between 43% and 63% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The Eater of Worlds glove implicit modifiers that previously provided between 24% and 31% overwhelm while a Pinnacle Atlas boss in your presence now provides 53% and 78% chance to hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The Corruption Jewel implicit modifier that previously provided 2% overwhelm now provides 10 to 15% chance for hits to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. Demon Horns, Found's Horn, Goat's Horn, Omen Wand, Prophecy Wand, and Sage Wand now have 1.4 attack speed per second, previously 1.2. Coiled Wand, Crystal Wand, Opal Wand, Quartz Wand, Spiraled Wand, and Tornado Wand now have 1.45 attacks per second, previously 1.3. Heathen Wand, Pagan Wand, and Profane Wand now have 1.45 attacks per second, previously 1.35. Accumulator Wand, Assembler Wand, Calling Wand, Congregator Wand, Convening Wand, Convoking Wand, and Driftwood Wand now have 1.5 attacks per second, previously 1.4. Carved Wand, Engraved Wand, and Imbued Wand now have 1.6 attacks per second, previously 1.5. Carved, Engraved, Heathen, and Imbued Wands now have a base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 7%. Calling, Convening, Convoking, and Driftwood Wands now have a base critical strike chance of 8.3%, previously 7%. Faun's Horn, Pagan Wand, and Profane Wand now have a base critical strike chance of 8.5%, previously 7. Coiled, Crystal, Goat's Horn, Opal Wand, Quartz Wand, Spiraled, and Tornado Wand now have a base critical strike chance of 9%, previously 7. Assembler and Congregator Wands now have a base critical strike chance of 9%, previously 7.5%. Accumulator Wand and Demon's Horn now have a base critical strike chance of 9%, 9.5%, previously 7%. Omen, Prophecy, and Sage Wands now have a base critical strike chance of 10%, previously 8%. Catspaw, Glasshank, Hellion's Paw, Imperial's Claw, Malign Fangs, Noble Claw, Shadow Fangs, Skinning Knife, Sparkling Claw, Tiger's Paw, and Void Fangs now have a base critical strike chance of 7%, previously 6%. Nailed Fist now has a base critical strike chance of 7.3%, previously 6.2%. All, Blinder, Double Claw, Eagle Claw, Eye Gouger, Fright Claw, Gemini Claw, Gouger, Gut Reaper, Terror Claw, Throat Stabber, and Twin Claw, these names, dude, now have a base critical strike chance of 7.5%, previously 6.3%. Great White Claw, Prehistoric Claw, Shark-Tooth Claw, Time-Worn Claw, Thresher Claw, and Vow Claw now have a base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 6.5%. Flame Knife, Glasshank, and Skinning Knife now have a base critical strike chance of 7.5%, previously 6%. Ambusher, Poignard, and Stiletto now have a base critical strike chance of 7.8%, previously 6.1%. Prong Dagger and Sai now have a base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 6.2%. Hollow Point Dagger, Pressurized Dagger, and Pneumatic Dagger now have a base critical strike chance of 8.3%, previously 6.3%. Holy shit, these are great buffs. Gutting Knife and Trisula now have a base critical strike chance of 8.5%, previously 6.5%. Copper Chris, Demon Dagger, Fiend Dagger, Golden Chris, Imp Dagger, and Platinum Chris now have a base critical strike chance of 8.5%, previously 6.5%. Boot Blade, Boot Knife, Butcher Knife, Carving Knife, Azomite Dagger, Flash Fire Blade, Flicker Flame Blade, Imperial Scan, Infernal Blade, Royal Scan, and Slaughter Knife have a base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 6.3%. Blood Scepter, Bronze Scepter, Carnal Scepter, Darkwood Scepter, Driftwood Scepter, Green Fetish, Hornet Scepter, Iron Scepter, Karui Scepter, Lead Scepter, Ochre Scepter, Platinum Scepter, Ritual Scepter, Royal Scepter, Sambar Scepter, Sekhem, Stag Scepter, Tyrant Sekhem, and Val Scepter now have a base critical strike chance of 7%, previously 6%. Abyssal Scepter, Shadow Scepter, and Void Scepter now have a base critical chance of 7.3%, previously 6.2%. Alternating Scepter, Oscillating Scepter, and Stabilizing Scepter now have a base critical strike chance of 7.6%, previously 6.3%. Critical Scepter, Opal Scepter, and Quartz Scepter now have base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 6.5%. Battery, Crescent, Eclipse, Gnarled Branch, Lathy, Longstaff, Moonstaff, Quarterstaff, Reciprocation Staff, and Transformer Staff now have a base critical strike chance of 7.5%, previously 6%. Very good buff. Primitive, Primordial, and Woodful Staff now have a base critical strike chance of 8%, previously 6.2%. Highborn Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8.25, previously 6.5%. Royal Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8.5, previously 6.5. Imperial Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8.5, previously 7. Foul Staff and Vile Staff now have a base critical strike chance of 7.5, previously 6.1. Iron Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 6.6, previously 6.4. No, sorry, 7.6, previously 6.4. The numbers are just like melding with each other. Coiled Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 7.7, previously 6.2. Serpentine Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 7.8, previously 6.3. Military Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 7.9, previously 6.6. Judgment Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8, previously 6.5. Judgment Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8, previously 6.5. I read that again. Maelstrom Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8.1, previously 6.8. Capacity Rod, Eventuality Rod, and Potentiality Rod now have a base critical strike chance of 8.3%, previously 7. Azomite Staff now has a base critical strike chance of 8.5%, previously 7.3. Suffix modifiers on shields that provide a percentage chance to block can no longer roll. We have added a new series of prefix modifiers for shields that provides increased chance to block. Makes sense. Suffix modifiers on shields that cause you to gain life when you block can no longer roll. Gnarled Branch, Long Staff, Primitive Staff, and Royal Staff now have plus 20% to block spell damage while wielding a staff, previously 18%. Highborn Staff, Quarter Staff, and Woodful Staff now have a 22% chance to block spell damage while wielding a staff, previously plus 18%. Imperial Staff, Lathi, the Primordial Staff, and Primordial Staff now have 25% to block spell damage while wielding a staff, previously 18%. Coiled Staff, Iron Staff, and Vile Staff now have a 20% chance, a plus 20% chance to block attack damage while wielding a staff, previously plus 18%. Foul Staff and Military Staff now have a 22% chance, a plus 22% chance to block attack damage while wielding a staff, previously 18. Serpentine Staff now has plus 22% chance to block attack damage while wielding a staff, previously 20%. Azomite Staff and Judgment Staff now have plus 25% to block attack damage while wielding a staff, previously 20%. 1 second. Divination card changes. The Rebirth and Renewal Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards Horned Scarabs. The More Is Never Enough Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards 4 Veiled Scarabs. The Long Watch Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards the 4th Vow Unique. The Friendship Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards the Owl's Uprising Unique. The following divination card has been temporarily disabled: Somebody's Wisdom and Soul Quenched. Existing divination cards cannot be turned in currently. Boss exclusive divination cards can no longer be obtained from the following sources of random divination cards: Delve, Eldritch Orders, Expedition, Heist, Incursion, and Ultimatum. Ruthless specific changes. Grace now provides you and nearby allies gain 40% more evasion rating at gem level 1, previously 55%, scaling up to 59% at gem level 20, previously 74%. Determination. Now you and nearby allies gain 40% more armor at gem level 1, previously 55%, scaling up to 59% at gem level 20, previously 74%. Wait. Alright, ruthless specific changes. The Pillage and Plunder Notable Atlas passive now has a 15% increased rarity of items from defeated Syndicate members in your maps per equipment they have, previously 10% more. Taurus Transportation Safe House reward is now a chest of skills and support gems. Taurus Research Safe House reward is now a chest of Domination Scarabs. The Juggernaut's Unbreakable Ascendancy passive skill no longer has 5% of armor applies to fire, cold, and lightning damage taken from hits. The Juggernaut's Unrelenting Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides any of its old properties. Instead, it now provides 1% additional elemental damage reduction per endurance charge and 1% additional physical damage reduction per endurance charge. The Berserker Warbringer Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides any of its old properties. It now causes war cries to exert twice as many attacks. The Berserker's Crave the Slaughter Ascendancy passive skill no longer provides any of its old properties. It now provides every rage also grants 1% increased attack speed. The Berserker's Rite of Ruin Ascendancy passive skill no longer has inherent effects from having rage are doubled. Instead, it now has 50% increased rage effect. Some of these are like the same shit from the base game. The Chieftain Scion Sun's Roar Ascendancy passive skill does not provide 30% increased war cry buff effect. The Champion's Master of Metal Ascendancy passive skill now has Impale damage dealt to enemies impaled by you, ignore enemy physical damage reduction, and impales you inflict at least one additional hit. The Champion's Inspirational Ascendancy passive skill no longer has any of its old properties. It now has Having a placed banner does not prevent you gaining valor. The Gladiator's War of Attrition Ascendancy passive skill has Deal 1% more damage with hits and ailments to rare and unique enemies for every 2 seconds they have been in your presence, up to a maximum of 50%. The Gladiator's Weapon Master Ascendancy passive skills has 10% more accuracy rating while wielding a sword, 10% more area of effect while wielding a mace or scepter, 10% more critical strike chance while wielding a dagger, 10% of leech is instant while wielding a claw, and 20% more damage with hits and ailments against enemies that are on low life while you are wielding an axe. The Deadeye's Avidity Ascendancy passive skill provides gain a frenzy charge every 3 seconds while moving and +1 to maximum frenzy charges. The Deadeye's Gathering Winds Ascendancy passive skill now provides 5% increased effective tailwind on you per gale force, previously 15%. The Warden's Avatar of the Wilds Ascendancy passive skill now provides 50% more elemental damage while unbound. The Guardian's Radiant Crusade Ascendancy passive skill now provides 10% more damage from hits is taken from your Sentinel of Radiance's life before you, previously 20%. The Necromancer's Commander of the Darkness Ascendancy passive skill now provides you and nearby allies have +20% to elemental resistances, previously +30%. The Necromancer's Mindless Aggression Ascendancy passive now no longer has any of its old properties. It now provides minions have 10% more maximum life and minions deal 8% more damage. The Ascendant's Chieftain Ascendancy passive skill no longer has totems taunt enemies around them for 2 seconds when summoned. It now has 30% increased Warcry buff effect instead. The Ascendant's Champion Ascendancy passive skill no longer has banner skills have no reservation. Instead, it now has hits have 50% chance to ignore enemy physical damage reduction. The Ascendant's Warden The Ascendant's Warden Ascendancy passive skill provides +15% chance to suppress spell damage. Attack damage penetrates 5% of enemy elemental resistances, and you can have an additional tincture active. The Ascendant's Gladiator Ascendancy passive skill provides 25% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with attacks, gain 50% base chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value, and inherent bonuses from dual wielding are doubled. 1 second. Alright. Monster Balance. Essences now grant increased toughness instead of life to the monster that they are affecting, and grant a small amount of increased item rarity and item quantity to the monster for each essence affecting them. The higher toughness a monster has, the less damage it takes. A monster with 100% increased toughness takes 50% less damage. A monster with 200% increased toughness takes 67% less damage, and so on. Reduced toughness causes monsters to take more damage. Tormented spirits now provide 25% increased item rarity and item quantity for monsters they touch, and 50% increased item rarity for the average spirit possessing a monster. Pinnacle bosses, Shaper, Guardians, and Elder Guardians can now have up to 50% action speed reduction, previously 30%, which buffs the effect of freeze on the bosses. Nice. Improved the meteor telegraphing for the players are targeted by a meteor when they use a flask, tier 17 map modifier. The meteor also now has a 2-second cooldown. There are monster modifiers that previously caused the monster to overwhelm 30% physical damage reduction, now causes the monster to apply the crushed debuff on it. The battering Val side area modifier can no longer appear. The ultimatum modifier that previously caused monsters to overwhelm physical damage reduction now causes monsters to ignore physical damage reduction. This is purely a wording change. Okay. The Expedition Remnant modifier that previously caused monsters to overwhelm physical damage reduction now causes monsters to ignore physical damage reduction. This is purely a wording change. Simulacrum modifiers that previously granted monsters 5 to 10% overwhelm and 10 to 25% 10 to 25% physical damage reduction now grant 15 to 25% physical damage reduction. Simulacrum modifiers that granted monsters overwhelm and impale can no longer appear. Pure impale chance modifiers can still appear. God, thank fuck. Unrelating timeless vow emblems no longer cause enemies to overwhelm 4% physical damage reduction or penetrate 4% elemental resistances for each time they have been revived. They instead cause enemies to deal 10% increased damage for each time they have been revived. Okay. Revenant monsters now use the shared explosion telegraphing used by Monsters Corps to explosions when they detonate their summoned minions. Nice! Kirak League mods. Essence now costs 6 Chaos Orbs, previously 3. Oh, Jesus! And causes the area to contain 4 additional imprisoned monsters, previously 2. Okay. Increased map density. Okay. Abyss now costs 4 Chaos Orbs, previously 6. Fuck Abyss. Ambush now costs 4 Chaos Orbs, previously 7, and causes the area to contain 3 additional strong boxes, previously 5. Okay. Harbinger now costs 4 Chaos Orbs, previously 6, and causes the area to contain 2 additional Harbingers, previously 3. Breach now causes the area to contain 3 additional breaches, previously 2. Nice. Okay. Changes. The rewards from the quest Deal with the Bandits has been reworked. Depending on your choice, you now receive the following. Helping a Lyra grants 15% to all elemental resistances. Helping Creighton grants 8% increased movement speed. Helping Oak grants 40% to maximum life. 40%, grants 40 flat maximum life. Aramir grants 1 passive skill point if you decide to kill all 3. This is an interesting change because now it's an actual choice. Because, like, before you couldn't get 20, for example, Alira, you couldn't get like 15% to all elemental resistances and 20% multiplier for 2 passive points. So many builds would take Alira. But now, 15% to all elemental resistances for 1 skill point, like, it's a thing. 40 to maximum life, that's more than the point you would spend with the thingy-majig, with the life mastery. So, it's 1 skill point. Okay. Crushing Fist is now offered for the Marauder and Duelist for completing breaking some eggs and can be purchased from Nessa by the Templar and Scion. Steel Skin is now offered to the Marauder for completing breaking some eggs and can be purchased by Nessa by the Duelist, Templar, and Scion. Shield Charge is now offered to the Marauder, Duelist, Templar, and Scion for completing Breaking Some Eggs and can be purchased from Nessa by all classes. Molten Shell is now offered to the Marauder for completing Intruders in Black and can be purchased by Yina by the Duelist, Templar, and Scion. Glacial Shield Swipe is now offered to the Duelist for completing Intruders in Black and can be purchased from Yina by the Marauder, Ranger, and Scion. Divine Retribution is now offered to the Templar for completing Intruders in Black and can be purchased from Yina by the Witch and Scion. Swordstorm is now offered to the Duelist for completing Intruders in Black and can be purchased from Yina by the Marauder and Scion. Eviscerate is now offered to the Marauder and Duelist for completing Intruders in Black and can be purchased from Yina by the Templar and Scion. Vengeful Cry is now offered to the Marauder for completing Lost in Love and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Duelist and Scion. Expert Retaliation support is now offered to the Duelist for completing a Fixture of Fate and can be purchased from Clarissa by the Marauder, Templar, and Scion. Rupture support is now offered to the Ranger for completing the Eternal Nightmare and can be purchased from Petarus and Vanja by the Marauder, Templar, Duelist, and Scion. Overexertion support is now offered to the Marauder for completing the Eternal Nightmare and can be purchased from Petarus and Vanja by the Templar, Duelist, and Scion. User interface changes. Act and Pinnacle bosses now have static life bars. Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go. You no longer need to interact with waypoints to unlock them. They now are active automatically as you walk by. Reservation effects such as heralds and auras now persist through death, allowing you to get right back into combat as fast as possible. Beautiful. You can now start harvest encounters with a single action rather than two. Very good. The range you can pick up items when using a keyboard and mouse has been increased to be more on par with controller input mode. Very good. The Scarab Vendor recipe now returns surplus scarabs when you vendor 4 or more scarabs. Nice. Bug fixes. Fix the bug where some vendor recipes could unfracture fractured items. Fix the bug where implicit modifiers magnitudes is double-tripled modifiers on the Eyes of the Great Wolf and String of Servitude uniques were not working correctly. Fix the bug where the Hand of Frisia unique gloves applied auras to players using Generosity support. Fix the bug where body swap of sacrifice supported by Spell Token was not targeting your minions. Fix the bug where Flame Blast of Celerity would never update its target location while targeting an enemy. This fixes totems never changing their target location and also improves player targeting when holding down the skill while targeting an enemy. Fix the bug where totems using Frost Blink or Frost Blink of Wintry Blast could stop casting when near a wall. Fix the bug where Val Summon Skeletons of Mages was incorrectly displayed as Val Summon Skeletons of Sorcery. Fix the bug where Val Summon Skeletons of Archers was incorrectly displayed as Val Summon Skeletons of Archery. Fix the bug where Apex Cleaver and Honed Cleaver had no attribute requirements. Fix the bug where Impale effect was not applying to the damage caused by Call of Steel correctly. Fix the bug where Delve Darkness damage was not being dealt at some very deep depths. Thanks, Steve. Fix the bug where Judgmental Spirits could summon an excessive amount of skeletons when raised as a specter. Fix the bug where Toad summoned by the Cultist Witch Spectre could prevent completion of the Coward's Trial. Fix the bug where Spectre could sometimes raise the wrong Spectre from Affliction Corpses in Solo Self-Found. Fix the bug where operative strongboxes could still be found in Atlas and Alva's Memory of Cascading Fortune. Fix the bug where rewards for completing Valdos maps could be affected by item conversion modifiers. Oh my god! Fixed a bug where Ancestral Call support was able to support triggered skills despite saying it cannot. Back in 1 second, grab more water. Alright, let's back to it. No. Fixed a bug where beyond Scarab, the resurgence was not fixed a bug where beyond Scarab of Resurgence was not providing its effect correctly. Fixed an issue where lesser shrines created by sources such as the Goal unique helmet were difficult to interact with. Nice, good change. Fixed a bug where the Astral Projector, Fury Valve, Mother's Embrace, Storm's Gift, and Warrior's Legacy uniques were always allocated to the map maker. Fixed a bug where the Lethian Temptation Divination card could award a Nebulous unique with less than 3 synthesis implicit modifiers. Fixed a bug where you could only throw the black flag into the beacon from certain angles. Oh, nice, they changed this shit. Fixed a bug where the Ashen Woods map boss could sometimes spawn in an unreachable location. Fixed a bug where tier 17 and maps could roll multiple players have less area of effect multipliers. Fixed a bug where NPCs could still trade with you even if all of their items offered didn't fit in the trade window. Fixed a bug where some outdated modifiers could still be obtained on heist brooches. Fixed a bug where some delve and heist chests could contain veiled scarabs. Fixed a bug where the Riptide monster could pull all things they shouldn't, such as the Ultimatum Altar. Riptide monsters now can only target players with their chain hook ability, including when raised as a specter. Fixed a bug where itemized temples dropped in areas open with the main incursion scarab of timelines could have non-functional empowering rooms. Fixed a bug where the players have increased action speed for each time they have used the skill recently modifier did not respect other sources that set action speed, such as Juggernaut's Unstoppable or Trickster's One Step Ahead. Fixed a bug where Piety was not firing projectiles with their Ball Lightning skill. Fixed a visual bug that could occur when using the Legion Commander body armor microtransaction and some amulet microtransactions. Fixed a bug where NPCs would no longer turn to face you when started a dialogue with them. That's a bit rude, isn't it? It is. I think it is. Fixed a bug where concentrated effect support was scaling the damage of elemental arrows from Blink and Mirror Arrow of prismatic clones. Blink and Mirror Arrow of prismatic clones also no longer have the AoE gem tag. Fixed a bug where Stormbind and Stormbind of Teleportation were missing the Arcane gem tag, and such could be supported by Archmage. Fixed a bug where automation support did not mention that it cannot support Val's skills. Fixed a bug where Flame Dash of Return did not state it cannot be supported by Unleash. Fixed a bug where the audio played when applying currency to a strongbox would play twice. Fixed a bug where alternate art uniques had lost their shine on their 3D art. Fixed a bug where the microtransactions list could display existing race reward microtransactions as just received when converting another race reward. Fixed a bug where Demigod's authority could not be applied to rapiers after converting the item to microtransaction. Fixed a bug where the Divine Sign helmet attachment microtransaction was not visible when using the Ooze character effect microtransaction. Fixed a bug where the Mercurial Exsanguinate microtransaction appeared incorrectly with global illumination enabled. Fixed a bug where the Templar Snack was visible when using the Karui Elementor armor microtransactions. Saucy. Bro, I think you can see his neck from the fucking stratosphere, let's be honest here. You see that small thingy from the fucking moon. Fixed a bug where the final stage of the bell tower map device would not correctly burst into flames on predictive networking mode. Fixed a bug where Exile map device microtransaction was not playing its rotation animation. Fixed a bug where the weapon effect microtransactions were not applying to the Mage Hunter's Aegis microtransactions. There we go. Fixed a bug where the shattering weapon effect microtransactions were able to propagate to your offhand weapon. Fixed 3 instance crashes and fixed a client crash. Update the patch notes of today. We are getting there. New patch notes. With the Speaker of the Dead Keystone Atlas passive, players can now touch up to 40 nearby normal or magic monsters for each tormented spirit possessing them, previously 20. Updated patch notes. Old. Cleave of Rage now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up at scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 6 to all gem levels. No longer grants gain 1 rage if this skill hits any enemies. Instead, now has gain 2 rage on attack hit. New Cleave of Rage now has 179% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 180%, scaling up to 511% gem level 20, previously 300%. Now has a mana cost of 7 at gem level 1, scaling up to 13 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. No longer grants gain 1 rage if this skill hits any enemies. Instead, it now has gain 2 rage on attack hit. So basically, they buffed the Cleave of Rage damage. I found odd that they didn't do that, but then I thought, well, maybe it was already high enough. I don't know, I don't play Cleave. Ode. Firestorm of Pelleting. Okay, fuck it. No, okay, let's read everything. Firestorm of Pelleting now has 95% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 300% at gem level 20, previously 120% at all gem levels. Firestorm of Pelleting now has 95% effectiveness of added damage at gem level 1, scaling up to 120% damage at gem level 20, previously 120% at all gem levels. So they nerfed the skill by mistake. Ode. Frostblades no longer has added cold damage at all gem levels. It now has 143% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 110%, scaling up to 490% at gem level 20, previously 225%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. New. Frostblades no longer has added cold damage at all gem levels. It now has 143% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 110%, scaling up to 409 and 9, not 90% at gem level 20, previously 225%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Ode. Frostblades of Catabasis now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. New. Frostblades of Catabasis now has 143% effectiveness of base and added damage at gem level 1, previously 110%, scaling up to 409% at gem level 20, previously 225%. Now has a mana cost of 6 at gem level 1, scaling up to 10 at gem level 20, previously 6 at all gem levels. Ode. The Divination Scarab of Curation has been renamed to Divination Scarab of Plenty. It no longer provides 10% more divination cards found in areas per different favored map, or divination card drops in area are replaced by those of your favored maps. Instead, it now causes up to 5 packs of magic monsters in an area to drop additional divination cards. New. The Divination Scarab of Curation has been renamed to Divination Scarab of Plenty. It no longer provides 10% more divination cards found in area per different favored map, or divination card drops in area are replaced by those of your favorite maps. Instead, it now causes up to 3 packs of magic monsters in an area to drop additional divination cards. Yeah, I thought 5 was a bit too much from them. Gotta regulate a little bit. Ode. Added a new Nomadic Teachings cluster to the northwest of the Templar storing location. Nomadic Teachings provides plus 2% to all elemental resistances. New. Added a Nomadic Teachings cluster to the northwest of the Templars storing location. Nomadic Teachings provides plus 2 to all maximum elemental resistances. Really hope you enjoy Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalgur. Thank you for your support. Return to top. Posted by a community team on July 18, 2024. 22 hours, 20 minutes, 20 seconds by Grinding Gear Games. I did it. Why? Because I am fucking insane. And I just had to, you know? Sometimes you have to read 30,000 words. Fuck it. Fuck it. Alright, it was exhausting. My throat feels like it's going to die. But it was fun. I have to say, it was fun. Alright. Thanks everyone, or anyone who listened to this point. You are fucking insane, dude. Have a good one. And let's enjoy the next league.